Okay, here we go with section 10.2, multiplying polynomials. Now, multiplying is definitely harder than adding and subtracting. I know sometimes it's not, but in this case, it definitely is. Now, what I want to look at doing here is I want to just explore using a little picture. Give me 1 second. All right, so when I'm looking at this, this is a good little visual, and it's something that you can definitely use whenever you need to. But let's go ahead and find the area. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Of a triangle where one side is x plus 2 and the other side is 2x plus 1. Okay. Now those are just two sides of the rectangle, but it sounds a lot more difficult than it is. What I want to start off doing is part A here. Find the area of each part. What's x times x? Well, that's x squared. And here's another piece that's the same size. It's also x squared. And then here I have x times 1. I have a bunch of those green spots. X times 1 is x, x, and x. And then what's 1 times 1? Well, that's just 1. Okay, and I have a couple of those. We'll find the total area by adding up each one of those parts. Okay, so I had 2x squareds. Oh, these ones are x's also. Hopefully you caught me on that. How many x pieces do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So plus 5x. And then I have 2 1s. So plus 2. That is what you get when you multiply x times 2, or x plus 2 times 2x plus 1. So that would be equal to x plus 2 times 2x plus 1. Okay, and that's just kind of a preview as to what we're going to be doing today. And that's one of the more difficult problems, but the thing is we're going to learn how to do it without this picture, but I just want to give you the picture as kind of an intro, and that's actually what we're going to be doing, but we want to look at it in a different way. All right, so let's look at the first section. It says a monomial times a polynomial. All right, it says here to use distributive property. Well, that's what we're going to be doing, and that's what we've done in the past. Okay, bam, bam, multiply that by both those things. So we get a times b plus a times c. I know it's kind of tough to look at using just letters here, so let's go ahead and look at an actual example. Let's say we had 5 times 3x minus 7. All right, all I do is I go 5 times 3 and 5 times negative 7. Negative 7. So 5 times 3 is 15. There's an x on there. 5 times negative 7 is negative 35. We've done that before. Okay, so I don't want to work too hard on that. That's there's a lot going on there. Or sorry, not a lot going on there. We have more stuff to get to down the road. So just remember that. You did that back in Unit 2. And if you need to, you can go back and check out some of that. Okay, that was when we were talking about distributive property. But let's go ahead and look at down here. Now we're a little bit different. Okay, now it says binomial times binomial, and it says to use distributive property, and that's definitely a good way to do it. What I want to do is I want to multiply a by this whole thing, and then I want to multiply b by this whole thing. Okay, so what that means is that I'm going to have a c plus d plus b c plus d, and then let's see what we get. Now I'm going to be distributing again twice actually. Okay, so we have ac plus ad plus bc plus bd. Now that doesn't look too bad. Okay, and it's really not. It's actually a pretty easy way to do it, and it works out pretty well. But let's go ahead and look at it with actual numbers to where we can see what's going on here. So I'm going to take this x and I'm going to multiply it by that whole thing there. Okay, so we get x times x plus 3. I'm going to use a different color for the next step. I'm going to take this negative 2 and multiply it by the whole thing. So then minus 2 times x plus 3. Okay, hopefully that color difference kind of helps you out and lets you see what's going on. But all I need to do now is distribute twice. Okay, and remember that that's a negative 2. But when I distribute twice, I'll have x times x, x squared, x times 3 plus 3x. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. And negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. So we get x squared. Okay, I have like terms here. I'm just going to combine those. Okay, positive 3 and negative 2 is plus x, and then we have the minus 6 there. So that will be my answer for this problem. I want you to go ahead and pause the video, and even though this problem is a little bit tricky, there's that x squared there. I want you to try it. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you had a chance to get that done. I'm going to multiply the x by the whole thing, and then I'm going to multiply the 1 by the whole thing. And you're going to find that multiplying by 1 is always nice. So we have x times x squared minus 3x. And then we have 1, so plus 1, times x squared minus 3x. Okay, so I'm going to distribute twice. Okay, double distribute. And we get x times x is, x times x squared is going to be x cubed. Okay, remember like bases. Sorry, you can't see that. Okay, so like bases. X times 3x, or negative 3x, is negative 3x squared. And then we have 1 times x squared, which is just plus x squared. 1 times negative 3x is minus 3x. Combine like terms. I do have 2 in the middle. So we have x cubed minus 3, we have a minus 3 and a plus 1, so that's going to be a minus 2. X squared minus 3x. Okay, not too much work. There's really only like 3 steps there, so that's always kind of nice. Let's go ahead and turn the page and keep going. Okay, this is the other way to do that same type of problem. Okay, a binomial times a binomial. It's called using FOIL. Okay, and FOIL is an acronym for firsts, outsides, insides, lasts. It's a quicker way. All right, so we're going to take, in this example that they've done here, okay, they've looked at the first terms as the red line. Okay, so 3x times x is 3x squared. The blue line is the outside terms, so 3x and 5, 15x. 4 and x is 4x, and then 4 and 5 is 20. Okay. Now, again, that's a good way to do it. I always go that way anyways, just by habit. And it sort of takes a step out. You don't have to distribute twice. You're gonna do a bunch of distributing at once. Okay. Really, all it is I want to multiply the 4x times everything over here, and I want to multiply the negative 6 by everything over here. But I'm going to use this order to write it. So first times first. Okay, 4x times 3x is 12x squared. Outsides, 4x times 15 is 60x. Hold on, messing up here. So 4x times 15 is 60x. Then insides, or the ones that are closest to each other, negative 6 and 3 is negative 18x. And negative 6 and 15 is a negative 90. And then always on these problems, you're going to have like terms, so you want to combine those to finish off the problem. So 12x squared plus 42x minus 90. The beauty is, more often than not, your like terms are actually in the middle already. Okay, so that was a quicker way to do that same type of problem. Let me do this one, and then you can do the last two. What this really means is that this whole thing is squared, so that's 2x plus 6 times 2x plus 6. Okay, let's go first times first. 2x times 2x, 4x squared. Outsides, 2x times 6 is a plus 12x. Insides, 6 times 2x. Okay, let me write my things here so I don't freak out. So 6 times 2x is plus 12x, and 6 times 6 plus 36. Again, my like terms are in the middle. Rewrite the ones that aren't like. 12 plus 12 is 24. Those are the x terms, and a plus 36 on the end. Go ahead and pause the video and try the next two. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully those didn't give you too much trouble. Okay, this first one's kind of different. I do like it though. 5 times 5, 25x squared. 5 times 3, plus 15x. Negative 3 times 5, minus 15x. Negative 3 times 3, negative 9. I do have like terms here, and what happens with those like terms? Positive 15, negative 15, those cancel each other. That's really cool. So we get 25x squared minus 9. And that's my final answer. All right, last one over here, or last one of this section. Okay, I want to go first times first. 3 and 2 is 6. X squared and x is x cubed. Outsides, 3 and negative 3 is negative 9. There's an x squared. Insides, 5 and 2 is 10. X times x is x squared. And last, 5 times negative 3 is negative 15, and there's an x on there. Again, my like terms in the middle. 6x cubed plus x squared minus 15x. Final answer. All right, last section here, and we'll get out of here. Trying to make a record video here. Not on purpose, it's just, life can be a little bit easier with some stuff. Whenever we have a polynomial times a polynomial, there's really no good way to do it. But the basics that we've used in the other ones apply here. Okay, but really what I want to do is just always use the distributive property idea from the time before. Because FOIL doesn't really work, because I mean, if I'm talking insides, am I talking this 3x and this, or the 3x and the 1? What are we talking about? If I only did the first, outsides, insides, and last, that wouldn't be enough things to multiply together. Okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the x squared by everything over here. So there, there, and there. So x squared times x to the 4th, use your exponent properties, is x to the 6th. X squared times 2x is plus 2x to the 3rd. And x squared times negative 5 is a negative 5x squared. Now here's a little trick that I like to do. Makes it a little bit easier because I have different colors. Now, you don't always have that, but what I want to do now is I want to multiply this 3x by everything over there. And I'm going to line them up if I can. If they have a place to line up, I'm going to line them up. And if not, I'm just going to tack them onto the end over here, and it might look kind of weird, but it's okay. So 3x times x to the 4th would be plus 3x to the 5th. Okay, there are no other x to the 5ths in there. 3x times x squared is a plus 6x squared. So I'm going to go ahead and underline that because it matches up with that one, but it's not it's not very obvious. And then 3x times negative 5 is negative 15x. This problem is going to get a little bit lengthy, but I'm going to go ahead and write the rest down below. But I want to multiply that 1 by everything, so you see how the top gets kind of ugly, especially if you're only using one color. But again, we're multiplying by 1, so that's kind of nice. 1 times x to the 4th is x to the 4th 1 times 2x is 2x, and 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. Okay? So let's go ahead and combine like terms now. We have a big mess of problems here, or of numbers here, and I do have one other set of like terms right there, but other than that, it's pretty ugly. All right, my highest term is x to the 6th. And do I have any fifths? Yeah, I do. There's one there. So plus 3x to the 5th. And I'm going to go ahead and cross them out as I get them down so I don't mess myself up. Okay, and count one twice or anything like that. Do I have any fourths? I do. I have one right here. So plus x to the 4th. What about thirds? Yep, got one right there. And that's the only one. So plus 2x to the 3rd. Squareds, we got one there and one there. Negative 5, positive 6, just going to give me a positive 1. X's, 15, sorry, negative 15 and positive 2. That's going to give me a negative 13. And then I only have one constant of negative 5. Okay, that problem's ugly. It really is. If you made it through that without crying too much, cut that off early, didn't I? I'd give you a medal for that. But the next one is a little bit more common and a little bit easier. Okay, we see these a lot more often than the trinomial times trinomial. So I'm going to multiply this 3x by everything in the second one, and you'll hear me say multiply everything in the first polynomial by everything in the second polynomial. That's kind of my cue to myself to know what I'm doing. So I'm going to multiply everything there by everything there. 3 times 2 is 6. X times x squared is x cubed. 3 times 3 is 9. X times x is x squared. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. And there's an x there. Now let's go ahead and look at multiplying the 2 by everything in the second polynomial. 2 times 2 is 4. Since it's an x squared term, I'm going to put it right below that one. I'll show you why in a little bit. 2 times 3 is 6, and those are x's. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Here's why I stacked it like that. Now I can just kind of add these straight down. Okay, drop the 6x cubed down. 9 plus 4 is 13. Those are my x squareds. Negative 3 and positive 6 is plus 3. And then the negative 2 just gets dropped down also. It's kind of nice when you can just drop them down like that. Alright, I'm going to help you out with one step of this next problem, and then you're going to do it, and you're going to do both of these. Okay? So the first step here is just saying that since this is cubed, it's like saying x plus 1 times x plus 1 times x plus 1. Okay? What I want you to do in solving these two problems is just to multiply two of them together, and I don't care which two. I'll probably do the last two. So I'll multiply these two together and then multiply that one in later. Okay? Go ahead and pause the video and try that. Okay, welcome back. So like I said, I'm going to leave the x plus 1 at the start. I'm going to leave that for a little bit. I'm actually going to end up with a problem that looks like how this one started. Okay? So x plus 1 times x plus 1. That's first, outsides, insides, last. Okay? X times x, x squared. X times 1, it's plus x. 1 times x, plus x. 1 times 1, plus 1. I'm going to simplify that a little bit. I have like terms there. So x squared plus 2x plus 1. That's step 1 of this problem. The next one I have to do just like I did up here, multiply everything in the first one by everything in the second one. So here we go. X times x squared is x cubed. x times 2x is plus 2x squared, and x times 1 is x. Now let's multiply the 1. 1 times x squared, 1 times 2x, 1 times 1. Now I'm going to be able to just add these straight down, but I'm going to go ahead and write it over here, just so that I know I have room. So we have x cubed. We have 2x squared and x squared, so that's plus 3x squared. X and 2x is plus 3x, and then plus 1 added onto the end. Okay? And now for our last problem. Again, same type of issue, and I'm going to show you a quick way to kind of make life a little bit easier. So x plus 1, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to multiply these two first, because I kind of like having a smaller polynomial in front. So here I'm going to go 2x times x is going to be 2x squared. Now I'm going to look at my outsides and my insides, because that's always what gives me the common or the like terms. So I have 2x and 4, so that's going to be 8x. And then I have a 2x, so that's going to be plus 2x. And so I'm going to write that as plus 10x. It's a way to save a little bit of writing just by thinking, okay, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 1 is 2, so 8 plus 2 is 10. Okay? People like that. It makes life a little bit easier. Then let's go that 2 times that 4. 2 times 4 is plus 8. Okay? Now I want to multiply everything in the first one by everything in the second one. X times 2x squared is 2x cubed. X times 10x plus 10x squared. X times 8 plus 8x. 1 times 2 is 2x squared. 1 times 10 plus 10x. And 1 times 8 plus 8. Add them up. We get 2x cubed. That right there is going to give me a 12x squared. That right there is going to give me an 18x. And that's just going to give me a plus 8. So you see how stacking it is sometimes easier than going this method. Okay, but this one, again, it wouldn't have stacked very well because we had a lot of non-like terms. So it wouldn't have worked very well with that one. But when you stack them, you don't necessarily have to cancel everything out as you get it. This is definitely a good way to go. Okay, you'll mess up a lot less doing that if it's an ugly problem. But in easier problems like this, I like to stack them up and knock them down. All right, so good luck on the practice application and mastery challenge. Hopefully you guys are progressing through this term pretty well, and we'll see you out there. So again, this unit we're trying to find the top 5 funny cat clips. Number 5 was tread kneading. Number 4, cat acrobatics. I hope you enjoy.
Bank. You remember this IBM, Vodafone, BOD, or now. Look up that new Indian ETF. It'll be INXX. When it comes to the market in China, we recommended Focus Media repeatedly on the show, and then I pulled the plug on the entire Chinese market when we started slipping back last year, and I'm not going back. Other than Baidu, I am not recommending anything in China. Even